M.GUNASEGARAN, studying Btec Year 1. Pay structure and decisions. An employer's view about pay structure is that pay is critical in attaining strategic goals. Pay impacts employees' attitudes and also behaviors. Other than that, employee compensation is a significant organizational cost. Meanwhile, in an employee's view, policies regarding wages, salaries, and other earnings affect their overall income and standard of living. Both level of pay and fairness compared with others' pay are important. Equity theory and fairness. People evaluate the fairness of their situation by comparing them with those of other people. People compare their own ratio of perceived incomes to perceived inputs to the ratio of a comparison other. A person, P, compares her own ratio perceived outcomes O, which are pays, benefits, and working conditions, to perceived inputs I, which are effort, ability, and experience, to the ratio of a comparison other O. If P's ratio is smaller than the comparison others ratio, then it is an under-reward inequity result. If P's ratio is larger, then it is an over-reward inequity result. Thank you.
Hi all, my name is THIBEN and I'm going to present Objective 2 in this chapter, which contain market pressures, employee as a resources, deciding what to pay, and market pay surveys. The first is market pressures. Market pressures got two parts, which is product market competition and labor market competition. In product market competition, is an organization must be able to sell their goods and service at a quantity and price that will bring a sufficient return on their investment. It places an upper bound on labor costs and compensation. And compensation is something typically money awarded to someone in recognition of loss or injury. The second is we can look at the labor market competition. It reflects the number of workers available relative to the number of jobs available. If an organization is not competitive in the labor market, it will fail to attract and retain employees of sufficient numbers and quality. The second is employee as resources. Employee as resources got one part, which is pay policies and program matter. Pay policies and program matter is needed to evaluate in terms of cost and returns they generate, like how they attract, retain, and to motivate a high quality workforce. The third is deciding what to pay. In deciding what to pay, we got one part, which is efficiency wage theory. Efficiency wage theory is an employee who are paid more than they will be paid elsewhere will wish to retain their good job. And the last is market pay structure. Market pay structure got three parts, which is benchmarking, rate ranges, key job, and non-key job. In benchmarking is in comparing an organization practices against those of the competition. As an example, call centers. Call centers often use benchmarks to understand their customer satisfaction level. And also benchmarking also can be defined as the process of measuring products, services, and process against those of organization known to be leaders in one or more aspects of their operation. The next part is rate ranges. Rate ranges permit the company to recognize differences in employee performance, seniority, training, and so forth in setting individual pay. As an example, for some jobs, there may be a single rate of pay for all employees with the job. And the last is key job and non-key job. Key job have a stable content and are common, and non-key job cannot be directly valued or.
Good morning to Dr. Amir. I am KARTHEGESU from Btec Session 1. Today I am going to talk about developing pay level. Pay level is a fundamental unit in an organization composition structure that is used to indicate differences in composition due to the smallest possible change in job specification. Pay levels generally rise as an organization hierarchy rises. First of all, developing job structure. Developing job structure is one of the internal comparison for evaluate employees' pay. For example, Vice President of Marketing may expect to be paid roughly the same amount as a Vice President of Information System because they are at the same organization level within similar level of responsibility and similar impacts on the organization performance. One of the way measuring internal job is job evaluation. Job evaluation is the process of comparing a job against other jobs within the organization to determine the appropriate pay rate. There are three types of job evaluation, which is ranking, classification or grade description, and the point method. Both ranking and classification are qualitative approaches that necessitate the comparison of the entire jobs to another and rely heavily on the judgment of individual involved in the job evaluation process. But point method provides a quantitative approach in which each job is assigned a unique point value based on detailed analysis of that job compensable factors. Secondly, we talk about developing pay structure. Developing pay structure involves evaluating jobs and establishing associate salary ranges and grades based on market data and the company compensation policy. First thing is market pricing. Market pricing, the external value of individual jobs, enables employees to create effective competitive pay plans and allocate compensation costs wisely. Secondly, pay policy. Pay policy is combines information from external and internal comparison, is to use the pay policy line to drive pay rates for both key and non-key jobs, and does not use actual market rates. And thirdly, pay grades. Pay grades is grouping jobs into pay classes, and each job within a grade has the same rate range, and permits greater flexibility in moving employees from job to job. Range spread is larger at the higher levels. Thank you so much.
Good morning to Sir Amir. I am Vivian Chinese Year 1 Sem 2 Btec student. Today I'm going to bring to you the importance of competitive labor market and product market force in compensation decision. What is the labor market? Labor market is amount an organization must pay to compete against other organizations that hire similar employees. Well, what is the product market? Product market is sell goods and service at a quantity and price that will bring a return on investment. The labor market will be more important when first is attracting and retaining employees is difficult. Why? Because they have option. Job opening puts opportunity in the pocket of every employee. A younger workforce who is accustomed to new experience will not stay at an organization with a mediocre employee experience. Second is cost of recruiting are high. This is because there are many individual costs incurred during the hiring process, including advertising costs, travel expenses, and others. The product market will be more important when, first, labor costs represent a large share of total cost. Second, the product demand is elastic. Third is the supply of labor is inelastic. The last one is employee skills are specific to the product market. It helps your sales associates communicate concepts and ideas more clearly when interacting with customers. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad and I'm from Group 7 Btec 1, and today I would like to present about the importance of process in pair discussion. We will be divided into two parts which are participation and communication. So for the ones we got participation, which are usually employee will not involve directly with the pay discussion, only the high position like human resource manager and finance manager will involved in the pay discussion. So, and next we got communication. Communication have a large independent effect on employee attitude and behavior. So the communication are so important to make sure that all employee can communicate well with their employers. At the same time, employee will use comparison standard to compare between the employee um, with each another, and also at the same time, manager will must explain clearly about the pay structure to the employee so they will understand without no doubts what they will be working for and what will be the pay based on what they do. So next we got challenge in the pay decision. So one of the challenges are problems with job-based pay decision. It will it will increase bureaucracy. Bureaucracy can be referred as a complex organization that has multi-layer system and process that the system and process will put effectively to make decision making are so slow, and they also to be designed to maintaining the uniformity and control within the organization. So this will be challenging because it will contra with the reward desired behavior. At the same time, we will be a barrier to make a chance to make a faster decision making in the pay decision. Lastly, we got response to problem with job-based pay structure. We got the consistency item which offers are daily and delivering and meaning offers opportunity to the for promotion to the employee. So next time they can improve themselves to get a better position and better pay. At the same time, broad can lead to weaker budgetary control and raising the labor cost. Next, we got paying the person based on skill, knowledge, and competency. Competency based pay we show that if you want employees to learn more skill and become more flexible in the job they perform, you should pay them to do it. And finally, we got skill-based pay, which are increased work for flexibility, facilitate the decentralization of decision making to those who are most knowledgeable, and also it will contribute to a climate of learning and active to give employee a broader view of organization function. Thank you for today.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Amir Aris. My name is TUAN or ADILA MAISARAH binti TUAN SULONG, and I will discuss about controversy over executive pay and equal employment opportunity in chapter pay structure decision. Monetary and non-monetary benefit which are given to the senior management and executive of a company. Executive pay also refers to remuneration specifically designed for business leader, senior management, and executive level employee. Executive pay also influence the organization performance and set the culture of organization, which means the more company pay to their company, the more engaged and retained the employee will be. Next, long-term compensation means company policy that reward employee for reaching their goal that increase shareholder value. It makes customer and employee know which performance factors that they need to focus on to improve performance and earning more personal compensation. For employee, it is very important to have compensation because if they feel underappreciated in the workplace, they will start search for another company or opportunity that offers them better. But for a company that offer below market rate are likely missing out on top candidates. So, company must offer higher market rate so the top candidate will be given to that company. There are several examples about compensation, which is bonus, salary, perks, retirement plans, insurance, and many more. Secondly, we go to the Equal Employment Opportunity or EEO, which is the idea that everyone should be treated fairly when they are considered for various employment decisions, which is hiring, termination, compensation, and promotion. Firstly, we go to the Title 511 of the Civil Rights Act, which is companies are illegal to discriminate against a person on the basis of race, color, religion, or sex. Secondly, Executive Order 11246, signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson establish requirements for non-discriminatory practice in hiring their employment. Thirdly, we look at the legally right better that require employees to redouble their effort to ensure that their pay practice are given fairly. This will protect workers from pay discrimination, and this will allow individuals who face pay discrimination to seek rectification under federal anti-discrimination law that allow men and women should be compensated equally for work requiring skill, effort, and responsibility. Next, we take a look at 1938 Fair Labor Standards Act, which is the US law that creates the right to minimize the wage, overtime worker, and prevailing wage law. This law also prohibits employee of minors in oppressive child labor. Lastly, we go to the Davis-Bacon Act, which is created on 1931 that set a certain wage and related standard for federal contract construction work. And then, in the 1936, Congress added Walsh-Healey Public Contract Act that setting basic labor standard in the production of goods under contract for the federal government. So that's all for today's topic, which is pay structure decision. Thank you so much for lending us your time to hearing this topic.